Hey guys, it's Sarai with the Take a Leap podcast, and today I'm here with
Maya.
And Maya, where are you from?
I'm from Las Vegas.
So, did you have any major culture shocks when you moved to Utah?
Oh, definitely. I think one of the things I noticed first was there weren't any slot machines anywhere.
I think one of the biggest things is all of the cookie stores and all of the soda shops.
I must say it has to be the caffeine consumption.
I didn't realize how intense everybody was about their looks and appearances, and also I didn't know how big the dance community was out here in northern Utah.
The way I would greet people, because in Mexico and in Spain, we like hugging and kissing, with the cheek. And when I came to Utah, when I came to the States, I would do it with everyone. Sometimes even with some of my professors.
Hello, welcome back to Take a Leap. I'm one of your co-hosts today, James Sturdivant, and joining me is Lia King.
Hello.
And today we have a wonderful guest. We have Moshe Nigri, who is the rabbi at the largest Jewish student organization in Utah, with over 120 Jewish students involved. The organization gives classes, organizes events, and celebrates Jewish holidays together. Their main mission is to make the next generation of proud Jews who will carry on the faith of Judaism, and of course, spreading love to the world. Hello, Moshe. How are you doing?
I'm doing well today. Thank you for having me today in this podcast. It's always amazing to share our religion and our faith with other people.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us. A question that's been on our minds ever since our producer Jackie discovered you was, how did you first want to become a rabbi? Because you're fairly young. How old are you again?
I'm 26.
26.
I'm young.
Is that common? Is it common for rabbis to be 26?
Yeah, basically how it works in the Jewish faith is that I'm from Brazil originally.
Okay.
Just for the record. I was born and raised in Brazil, actually. I always learned about Judaism, of course, with mathematics and all other very important subjects that we have to learn to have a career too. But in my mind, I always want to be a rabbi, even though my family, my parents are not rabbis, my father is not a rabbi, my siblings, some of them are, some of them are not. But I had in my mind I wanted to be a rabbi always, and therefore when I was 16, I went to France. I went to a few countries to learn in the rabbinical schools to become a rabbi. I was ordained as a rabbi in New York, in the headquarters of Chabad, which is Brooklyn, New York. Once I became a rabbi, my vision was to make a difference in the world, to make this world a better place.
That's perfect. Why else would you ever want to do anything, right?
Yeah, you've been kind of all over the globe. Did you convert to Judaism, or did you grow up Jewish in Brazil?
I grew up Jewish in Brazil, but both parents are Jewish. As we know, Judaism is a maternal faith, which means if your mom is Jewish, you are Jewish too. That's how it works in Judaism. And doesn't matter how much you do, how much you don't do it, how much you observe, how much you don't observe. You're always Jewish if your mom is Jewish. Of course, you can convert too. But my mom and my father were Jewish, and they were actually Orthodox Jews, and I grew up Orthodox my whole life in Brazil. In Brazil, we have a decent amount of Orthodox Jews, more than Utah for sure. Not a lot, but it's not a bad amount, let's say.
So Brazil is definitely not in Utah, as you kind of alluded to. So can you talk to us about the journey you followed in order to become a rabbi at the University of Utah at the Chabad?
Yeah, so basically when I became an ordained rabbi, a little bit after that I became engaged to my wife, and I got married to my wife. My wife, she was born in Utah. Her father is the main rabbi in the Orthodox community in Utah. It's called Chabad of Utah. It's in Salt Lake City. And when we got married, my father-in-law told me from the first time we met, if you want to be a rabbi in Salt Lake City, Utah, we'll need your help there. I've heard very little from Utah before I came here to visit my in-laws and my wife's family. So when I came here, I liked the place, of course. It's a lovely place, Utah. And people over here are very nice people, very welcoming. So I told my wife, it's not a bad idea maybe to come over here and try to help the Jewish people and the Jewish community to grow. So when we came here, actually, one of my jobs was to start a Jewish organization at the University of Utah. Now, I didn't know anyone at the University of Utah. I actually knew one student that he used to come to Chabad for services and stuff. So I knew him a little bit. So I got him as my president. And I found another two Jewish students that they knew someone that I knew, so we had a common friends. And we made three students. We made a student organization. We had a president, a vice president, and a treasurer. That's what we need to open a student organization at the University of Utah. So with that, I started tabling at the U. I found 5 to 6 Jews the first time tabling at the U. So I saw that actually there's a lot of work to do over here and finding Jewish students to connect more to Judaism. And every single Jewish student stopped by our tables. All of them asked me why was no Chabad before over here, because Chabad on campus, it's a international organization actually. It is present in almost every campus in the world. Not in the world, in America for sure. But in the world, even in the world, a lot of places in France that I know, in London, and a lot of countries has Chabad on campus. So they asked me why I was never here before. So I told them there was no rabbi to take care of the students at the University of Utah yet. So when I came here and I found the students that they wanted to have a Chabad on campus to do religious, the holidays, Shabbat, and so on and so forth, ask questions and have classes with the rabbi. So I started doing whatever I'm doing until now. So I started having Shabbat once in a while with the students. I started my classes and having events on campus. And since then, we grew a lot. And now we have, like I said before, over 120 students enrolled and connected to us at Chabad on campus.
Yeah, that's amazing. When we started this podcast, we started it because we're seeing a lot of people of our faith and of other Christian religions who are young, they're leaving religion, or at least leaving organized religion. And I'm wondering if you're seeing that in Salt Lake as well with the Jewish community, or if it's kind of the opposite, because it sounds like you're hearing these young people who are really interested in having this faith community that you helped provide.
So I see that a lot of young people are trying to get back to Judaism and connect more. After October 7th, even more. What happened in Israel, as we know, the terrorist attack, and it touched every single Jewish person very personally, because it's our brothers and sisters in the land of Israel, our land, and we believe God gave it to us. So when that happened, more students wanted to connect to God and to Judaism to try to get, a connection and a higher meaning in their lives. Actually, last night I was giving a class to a few students, as I do every week, Mondays and Wednesdays at the U. It's not connected to the university, it's on my own. We have around 8 to 9 students in every class I do. So last night the class was about purpose in life. And we spoke about the Jewish way of finding purpose in life, which is to make the world a better place. And I see that this generation that are, 18, 19, 20, until 22 years old, that we are a generation of social media and everything else. People are getting caught up in all those silly, as we're going to say, and not so important things in life. And once in a while, when they think about what am I doing in this world, they get a little bit, not depressed, I would say, but a little bit, they try to think, what am I actually doing in this world? What can I do to make this world a better place? What am I doing now to try to bring godliness to the world? And why is bringing godliness to the world important? So I see that a lot of students have that question in their minds, and they always try to ask me and ask, other people around them to try to find an answer. And I think that the answer is getting more connected to Judaism, not specifically being Orthodox or, just whatever you can do to connect more to God in your religion. I think that's going to bring more of a sense of purpose in a person's life.
Definitely. Do you think that our generation is unique in that way a little bit? And I mean, of course, I think every generation throughout history has always been looking for meaning. People always have been trying to find ways to connect with the divine in some way. But do you think because of social media or because of how interconnected our generation is, that we have more of a thirst for that or more of a hunger for that somehow?
Yes, I'll agree with you. I think there are 2 components why actually people in this generation, they try to find more meaning. First of all is a very technical one, actually, that I believe very much. In this generation, we have more time to think, which means in all the generation before, a car was invented 200 years ago, of course, they didn't have time to think about anything else because they're between work and walking back and trying to get some food, water, and everything else in life. You didn't have so much time to think in between, what do you need to do and what my purpose? My purpose in life is to try to bring food to my family. And that makes a lot of sense. And nowadays, however, people have a lot of time because everything became way, way easier and way simpler to get everything you need. So now people have more time to think about their lives. That's a technical reason why I think people have more of a tendency to try to find meaning. The second reason is, as you said, the social media. And you go on social media, a lot of times you see people having great lives, perfect lives. Why? Because they only post the good things happening in their lives. And a lot of times you ask yourself, if I'm not having that perfect life, so what am I doing in this world? Why am I here at all? And you try to answer to yourself that if I'm not rich, if I don't show everyone my perfect life, I have no meaning in my life. And people try to find something else that brings meaning to their lives and purpose, which is outside of material and physical matters. It's more in spiritual matters, and that brings them to come to religion too. So not always, of course, it's not something that happens to every single person, but I would say that a lot of people, when I speak to them, I ask them, why do you want to connect more to Judaism? And the answer is because of those two reasons. But there's a third reason that I want to say, that we believe in the Jewish faith. We believe that every single Jewish person has a godless soul, which is a Jewish soul. And therefore, in Judaism, we believe very much that it doesn't make a difference how much you observe and how orthodox you are, you're always going to be Jewish. And even a person very far away from Judaism, a person does not do Shabbat, does not keep any mitzvot or anything in Judaism, he's still, or she is still a Jewish person. Why? Because we believe in a Jewish soul that every single Jewish person has. And that Jewish soul sometimes is slipping a little bit, therefore the person does not connect so much to the person's Jewish roots. However, when you light that Jewish soul, when you wake up that Jewish soul, the Jewish soul tries very much to connect more and more to the Jewish faith.
I love that. I think that's very beautiful. I have a question, and maybe this is kind of a theological question, but I think for Christians or for members of the LDS Church as well, there's a feeling of that kind of being drawn back to God. We think of Christ as the good shepherd. He's looking for the one sheep, and there's the 99, and there's that beautiful imagery of God is seeking after you. Is there a similar imagery in Judaism of God seeking after you, and that's why you feel that call back to your faith, even if you're distant from it?
Yeah, there's a beautiful book written by the first Chabad Rabbi. So Chabad is a dynasty, basically. It's a sect of Judaism that started 250 or 300 years ago. And the first Rabbi, the first leader of Chabad, wrote a book called Tanya. Tanya is a beautiful book, and that book brings exactly what you said now, that there is a love that people have towards God because God has the same love towards us. So the same way you can see your face on the mirror, so too over here, when you feel the love from someone, even a person, a physical person, you usually going to try to give back that love to the person. So to God, God shows us the love that he has for us, that he created us, and he gives life to us, and he gives everything to us. So too, we believe very much, as you said, that the love, we try to give back the love. That's why we get connected to God.
That's a very comforting thought, I think. I mean, especially for our generation. I feel like a lot of us feel alone in the idea of a God that's searching for you and sending angels or whatever it might be to find you and to comfort you. I just think it's so important for our generation to feel that way.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. I would say so too.
I love what you were saying too earlier about social media, because I feel like that's such a universal pit that so many of us have fallen into, myself included. But I think it's interesting. People talk about all the time looking at other profiles and being like, oh, this person's so perfect, I want to be like them. But it sounded like you were talking also about how individually we're like, I want other people to perceive my life as perfect. So I'm going to post this scripture, this picture of what I'm doing. And it's interesting to think that religion can kind of be a solution to that, or like finding yourself in your own soul. That's very cool.
Something that I think you've probably seen in your experience as a rabbi and trying to build this community at the University of Utah is something that we see on the show, and kind of the reason why we wanted to start the show is it feels like there's a part of our generation that is maybe turning its back on religion or that doesn't see the same benefits of it. What has your experience been at the University of Utah as far as that goes, with our generation maybe not feeling as attracted to religion?
I think that definitely there's less attraction to religion than the generations previously. I didn't live in those days, but as you read from books and history, you can see that people are more, attracted to religion. But I think that the way that I get students to connect to Chabad and to religion, to Judaism, is basically with love. So I'm going to tell you that the Rabbi, which is the picture of, he's the leader of the Jewish people of this generation, the Rabbi of Chabad, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, he shared on his first statement, the first Hasidic discourse, the first discourse that he gave when he became the leader of the Jewish people, was a beautiful discourse. And among the things that he said there was that Judaism was taken away from the Jewish people in a harsh way, in a very bad way, which is the Holocaust. Just to make a little bit of context, he became the leader of the Jewish people in 1951, which was a little bit after the Holocaust. And so he said, in order to bring back Judaism to people, you need love, a lot of love. because it's taken away in a bad way, you have to bring back in a good way. Which means when I try to bring Judaism to the students, I don't come over to them and tell them, come to my class, come learn, you have to learn more. You don't learn enough in the university with Utah. No, you do learn enough. You learn a lot, actually. I feel bad, actually, learning even more. But what I tell them is, come to Shabbat dinner. Come eat some kosher food. Come get together in a coffee. Come talk about life. Come talk about how to love other people, how to love yourself, and talk things and give them the opportunity to connect in a loving way. And then with that, they feel the connection more and more to Judaism, and they themselves going to feel the need to know more about their roots, which is the Jewish roots. And that they come more to seek the religion because they see that there's actually something to it. I can learn from it to my day-to-day life. I can actually live a better life with the religion. So I think that the best way for this generation to bring religion to people is bringing in a loving way and not in a harsh way, saying if you don't do this, that's going to happen to you. If you do that, you're going to go to this place and that place. I think that approach does not work very well with this generation. I think the best approach is a loving approach, that if you do it, you're going to connect to God, you're going to have more meaning in life, and so on and so forth, having a better day-to-day life and a better family. The kid's going to be more connected to God, and you're going to make the world a better place.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And it's something that I've seen among my peers as well, just focusing on loving each other first and just being a friend for somebody before trying to bring them back to religion right away or drag them into a church. And I feel like one of the best examples of that is honestly my dad. I was thinking when you were talking, he just was always serving people, like raking their leaves, or would go over and bring them dinner or something. And he'd give them a parting message about, oh, God loves you, that kind of thing. But really, he was there to be their friend and make sure that someone was serving them.
That's the way to do it. So we have a Shabbat. So Shabbat dinner for free. We don't charge the students. So usually nowadays, twice a month we do a Shabbat dinner. We have 40, 50 students coming usually, around 40 to 60, depends on the week. It's on Friday nights, of course, our Sabbath, usually after nightfall. And we have food, we have challah, which is the Jewish, bread. We have the matzah ball soup, which the Jewish people eat at home usually on Friday nights. And we have food, everything for free, and everything. And no, I don't tell people for free because that's our people. We give to each other and we get back from each other, and that's the Jewish people. And not only Jewish people, human beings also. We're here to give and also to get back. But the main thing is to give to each other and give love, as you said. So that's what we believe very much. We do it every single week. I don't tell people you need to come to class in order to get free. No, come to Shabbat dinner. We love you, be friends. I talk to them about mostly soccer. I don't know much about football and basketball because I'm from Brazil. But I speak to them about other things too to relate to them. And once you become friends, as you said, it's beautiful. Your father must be a very good man.
Yeah, he is.
You mentioned soccer. I love soccer or football. I just have to say a similar idea. When I was a missionary, I served my mission in Tacoma, Washington, but speaking Spanish. And so I've met a lot of people who also love soccer. And in a similar way to providing food for people, we would have weekly soccer nights. And so everyone would come and we'd play soccer with them and just have a good time, get to know them, having little inside jokes with people, might do some pushing and shoving, But it's a good time. The people come to have a good time. And then if you do the right thing, if you're capable to be friends with them, if they see that you're there to be friends with them, not to just preach at them, then maybe they'll come to church. Then maybe they'll participate and the other stuff. But I love that idea of befriending people, having a good experience with them.
I would say that even if they don't come, the students usually sometimes tell me, I don't want to be getting anything free because they're going to expect me to do something. Mm-hmm. No, I don't expect anything from anyone. Even if you don't come, the fact that I became friends with you, I gave to you, and for sure one day you're going to give back to someone else, that's enough. That's enough for me. I'm not trying to make anyone specifically being Orthodox or the way I am, a rabbi. No. Whatever they think they're going to connect to God with, I think that's the main thing they should do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
This is a total shift in the conversation, but one of the questions that we wanted to ask is just if you have favorite Jewish holidays or traditions that you do.
My favorite Jewish holiday, I would say, is Passover, which we get together as a family and we talk about the exodus from Egypt and how it can relate to each one of us in our day-to-day life. But actually, every Shabbat, when I sit down with my family, so I'm married with 2 kids. I have 2 little kids, one 2 years old, one 6 months, 8 months old right now. Very cute, 2 boys. And when I sit down together, with my wife, with friends, with my family, my in-laws, or when I'm in Brazil, my parents, I think that we just disconnect from the world. We don't use our phones, which, by the way, is something amazing. The whole Sabbath, from Friday at sunset until night of Saturday, which is 25 hours, we do not touch our phones. And we disconnect from the whole social media and the whole world. And we focus only on our family. And I think that's my highlight of the week, which every single week we have it, thank God. And it makes my year, I think, a better life even because of that. So I would say that my best holiday, I would say, it's Passover. But every single week I have a mini Passover. We sit down with my family and we talk about our lives and connect to each other.
I love that. I love the community and the family of it. That kind of makes me wonder, have you had any experiences at the University of Utah with people who maybe are far away from their families, where you've been able to provide that sense of community and family during those very special holidays for other people?
For sure, yes. It's a good question, actually. And a lot of people, they wish they would be in their homes. A lot of Jewish students come from California, from New Mexico, from Chicago, whatever, a lot of places. But a lot of them, they believe, they feel the family union when they come to Chabad. I tell people, Chabad is a family. We're not just a student organization that you come, you eat some food, and you leave. You become part of the family. You come, you make friends, you make a sense of community. And last Passover, we had over 60 students coming to Chabad, all students, and we basically tried our best to make them feel at home. So we had everything they used to have at home, and all the food that people usually have at home, and we had everyone saying something, playing a game, talking about life, and I think that makes them feel at home and makes their experience at the U a way better experience than being alone in those times.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. I think that's exactly kind of thing that we want to see, the kind of people that we want to meet doing this show is people who can provide that for other people, who are doing their best to provide that family, that community, and that love to other people the way that you're doing at the University of Utah.
Thank you for having me over here. And when she sent me a message, I saw a little bit of the podcast, and I saw that the podcast was more going towards religion and bringing the importance of religion to the world. And I think it's very important to bring the importance of religion. You become a better self and a better person with the religion. So thank you very much for doing that, and I hope we'll meet again.
Thank you so much to Moshe Nigri for joining us from Chabad at the University of Utah. We might be rivals on the field, but off the field we can have some great interfaith discussions. Feel free to check out Chabad at U of U on Instagram, and while you're there, go to Take a Leap, and like our most recent stuff, share it with a few people. Take a Leap is a production of BYU Radio. We'll catch you next week. Bye.